Hi, and welcome back to the Expired Podcast by Macy Bookout and Natalie Gard. This week's episode is on Knoxville teen Emma Walker.
Here goes nothing. Okay. Listener discretion advised because I'm going to cuss over my pencil breaking and my paper ripping.
If you were a pen girl like me.
It's got to be straight and solid. Like, there are so many lines when we were just like getting to the end of it that are like crooked, and I'm like, ugh, but I was over it.
Would it like bother you if I like?
Very much.
Yeah, okay.
So, when I was having to like flatten it out, I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing.
Even your scribbles are like well kept.
Oh yeah. I can't do it. I don't know. I know it's a me problem. It's a me problem.
You're the problem. It's you.
I am the problem. I'm okay with being the problem.
That's okay.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Everyday life.
So this case is, yes, viewer discretion is advised if like emotional distress bothers you, just like teenage drama,
controlness,
yeah,
manipulation,
anger,
just toxicity,
yeah.
This, especially for young adult, or actually not even adults, really, teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot about the case we're covering today. So, probably listen to it before you listen to it while, like, if you're driving or something, and your kids are in the car, or you have teenage children. I would advise listening to this. Well, anytime listening to our podcast before you let your kids listen to it with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Taylor's texting me. I gotta text him back so he doesn't think something's wrong.
So he doesn't think someone murdered you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to go over the victim. We're going to go over the perpetrator. We're going to go over the timeline, like how they met, their story, any red flags we've seen, the facts and the evidence of what happened. And of course, we're going to highlight the foundations that have been set up in the victim's honor. So we're talking about 16-year-old Emma Walker of Knoxville, Tennessee.
It's just crazy when you say 16-year-old.
I know. 16.
Baby.
I know. And this crime happened in 2016 as well. Emma was typical freshman girl at her high school. She was on the cheerleading team, and she was actually
like the only freshman that made the team. So she was a competitive dancer and cheerleader. And I thought that was cool. Like, when she tried out, like, you could tell her parents were like so proud when they were talking about it, because she was the only freshman to make the cheerleading squad for the high school. So, and that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah,
anyone would be proud of that.
Oh yeah. So that's really cool. She did a lot of volunteer work, but like regularly volunteered at the local animal shelter in her town. And truth be told, I feel like any kid, or especially a teenager that spends any of their free time doing something like that is, I think it speaks volumes to how special she was.
And all of her friends said that too.
Yes.
She was very popular, fun-loving, could do the worm.
Yeah, she could do the worm. I loved that.
I know.
They had to point. She must have been really good at it.
Yeah.
It must have been like her signature thing.
Yeah.
Super sweet though, super friendly, had a huge heart. Kind of like the person that was friends with everybody, and not in like a fake sense, like in a very genuine way. And she wanted to be a nurse, and not just a nurse, a neonatal nurse. And so my aunt is a NICU nurse, and I say all the time, I'm like, if anyone comes into this world having to fight battles, like those NICU nurses, the neonatal nurse, like those are the people you want starting that battle with you, every battle. Like, and at that age, to think and to dream of doing that job, like that's such a it requires so much of you and is a difficult but very important role. So to be 16 knowing that that's what she wants to do, I think, I don't know, she was definitely a special
Driven.
person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just caring. Like she cared
Yes.
for animals, she cared for babies and people, she
And
cared for,
friends, family,
yes, she just,
very selfless.
yeah, and just loved to cheer and was proud of herself for being on the varsity cheerleading team at Central High School. Go Bobcats.
Yeah.
So,
And beautiful too.
oh my gosh, so pretty.
So pretty.
Like,
Naturally just
yeah,
stunning.
stunning.
Um, but people also said that, but inside and out, like as pretty as
Mm-hmm.
she was on the outside, she was that pretty on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone that knew her was super lucky to know her
Mm-hmm.
because she is very special.
Yeah.
Um, her boyfriend Riley is Riley Gaul. He's a
Mm-hmm.
junior when she is a freshman in high school at the same school. He is a star football player. Um, he's she's 14 at this time. He's 16. And he's kind of described as like, even though he was like a jock, like a football player, a lot of his friends say he was kind of nerdy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he really enjoyed, if he wasn't playing football, he enjoyed video games.
Kind of
Um,
shy and introverted
yeah,
when he
like to
wasn't.
himself.
Yeah.
But a lot of people said he was a very polite kid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and by no means, I don't think mean or like a troublemaker
Right.
really by any means, but very to himself.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, when she starts high school, she's a cheerleader, he's a football player. They start dating, and for the first couple months, it's just a normal, you know,
High school
yeah,
relationship.
in love and lust, and head
Posting
over
on
heels.
Facebook
Yeah,
and pictures and Snapchats.
super cute, super. I don't know, like your textbook fairy tale high
Cheerleader and
school.
boy, yeah,
Yeah, just
football.
just normal, movie relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think for the most part, for the first few months, like they were just very much in love. But I know her parents did make a point to say like they didn't really go on like actual dates because she wasn't allowed to yet, which is totally understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But they would like hang out at each other's house with parental
yeah, he'd come
supervision,
over for dinner. They
like
would,
group things,
yeah,
that go out to eat after football
yep.
games.
And
I mean, that's what I would do with my high school
exactly.
boyfriend.
Same for
So,
me. Like when I was a freshman,
mm-hmm.
I most definitely was not allowed to just get in a car with him and go to dinner or
Mm-hmm.
something. No. So yeah, just typical relationship. And her parents didn't. I mean, I'd say on both sides, his parents and her parents, like they didn't dislike him. His parents didn't dislike her. They're just normal kids
Mm-hmm.
being kids. Um, and then I'd say probably 2, 3 months after they started dating is kind of when I guess the butterflies went away and the toxicity of a high school relationship also
Mm-hmm.
kind of started showing itself, as in, just jealousy on and off, dramatic.
Yeah, he would like just be controlling of her. Like, I want you all to myself. I don't want you to be with, this person. I don't want you to hang out with this person. I want you to wear this or
Yeah,
that.
telling her what to wear, and if she, I guess, like being, if she was going to do something, he wouldn't want her wearing this, or just almost just like an attempt to actually control everything.
Yeah, I mean, he would like sit outside her work, wait for her, like wait for her to get off work, and wait for hours,
Hours,
just sitting
hours,
there. Like,
yeah.
it's just too much.
So I know we talked about this, but when I was a freshman in high school, I was dating a junior, and he, this guy reminds me so much of my boyfriend.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it was bad. Like my parents had to go to the school and everything.
Yeah.
Like after, like he was not supposed to call, text, nothing. He would show up at the softball field, wait till softball practice was over, like, and I would have to sit in the dugout until my mom got there to pick me up. Showed up at my house one time during the summer with a movie and like chocolate ice cream because he knew that was my favorite. and like my dad literally had to tell him to like get off our property. Like
Yeah.
would
Crazy.
follow me from class to class. Like this reminds me so much that it actually kind of scares
Scares.
me.
Yeah.
Because my mom has told me since I've grown up, she's like, no, like maybe you kind of forgot how crazy he was, but like me and your dad were like really worried about, like he was very obsessed.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like I know he was, but I guess as a kid I was just
You
like,
don't think about
whatever. And
Mhm.
now that I'm a grown up, like listening to the story and stuff, I'm like, oh my God. Again, I
Mhm.
feel like we say it every week. It could happen to
It
anybody.
can.
Like,
It can.
okay.
Yes. So they get it. They're in this relationship, and it gets kind of rocky. They date for about 2 years, and it's kind of on and off.
Yeah.
Um.
I think, and besides like just your typical like jealousy and like trying to be controlling and dramatic things, some of the red flags like at this point that were really sticking out to me were just the hateful mean texts that he would send her, or like Snapchats or whatever,
Mhm.
and saying stuff like, you know, your name's going to be in an obituary, and just like kind of like the stalking stuff
Mhm.
like that's not normal high school behavior.
Yeah.
Like that's not normal behavior
Period.
ever.
Yeah.
And his ability to like go off on those things and then apologize
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
turn the charm back on, that those were super red flags for me.
Yeah.
But at this point he's in college now.
Yeah. So, this all happened in the fall of 2016. Emma's now a junior, and he has gone to a local college, Maryville College. I think he plays football
Yeah,
there.
he's a standout football player
Yeah,
at the
and
college.
so they're kind of moving in different directions
Mm-hmm.
because they're not going to school together anymore, and it just hurts their relationship even more.
Yeah, and I think she's kind of growing up and is
Yeah,
like just kind of over it.
yeah.
Just
Fighting
really
all the
just
time
trying to,
just
yeah,
drains you. Mhm.
breaking up on off. Just it's exhausting. I
Yeah.
think she was just like, I just want to live my life
Yeah.
and not have to worry about this anymore. And at
Yeah.
this point, too, her friends and family were not big fans of his
Yeah.
at all.
Her parents were really concerned when
Mm-hmm.
just his weird behavior, the text
Things
being
he would say,
yeah,
yeah.
things he would say. So her parents have their radar on. Um, and so after 2 years, they broke up, and he's in college, so he is experimenting with uh, prescription drugs and alcohol,
Yep,
which just adds so much fuel to the fire
definitely.
when you're going through, the end stages of puberty, going to college, playing football. You have a toxic relationship,
Yeah, I
and you're
think,
adding all
yeah,
this.
and who knows? I mean, I could definitely see some mental health things going on
Mm-hmm.
that we can kind of touch on later, but alcohol and pills are most definitely they're not a good idea ever.
Ever.
Um
So he starts doing like all these erratic things. His friends noticed that he was just acting weird. He would, anytime that he wouldn't get his way, he would turn and say suicidal thoughts
yeah,
or say he's
or
gonna
even
kill himself.
attempt
Yeah.
suicide. And that's one of the things for me that's like there's definitely some sort of underlying mental health
Mm-hmm.
um disorder going on that has either not shown up until this point, and the drugs and alcohol and stuff definitely didn't help, or I hate to say it, but even just 4 or 5 years ago, like the stigmas around mental health, like his parents or friends could have seen signs of this even earlier, but it was
Mm-hmm.
very much like, you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're an athlete and you're a football player, so you can't have this wrong with you, you know,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it could have been ignored. I don't feel like education or just people talking about mental health, like he might not have even known
Yeah.
that stuff was going on,
Yeah.
but
And usually that's the age where it comes out in men
a
is,
100%.
yeah,
Yep.
right at that
That
age.
hormones, everything.
Mm-hmm. So he's acting weird,
Bizarre.
Riley and Emma have broken up, but he's like constantly trying to get her back.
Yes.
Constantly calling her, constantly texting her,
Showing up at her house.
showing up
at her work.
Yes, just like doing too much.
Way too much.
Yeah. And so he he is doing all this stuff, and while this is happening, Emma gets some weird text. She was like hanging out with some friends, and she's getting all these weird texts like, if you don't come outside right now, one of your loved ones is gonna get hurt. Just weird, like from a random number. So she and one of her guy friends like go outside just to see like
if something's going on,
if someone's out there, what is happening. And lo and behold, Riley is laying face down in her ditch outside of her house, randomly,
just laying.
Yeah.
There. And I can only imagine that it's because she had a friend at her house. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he knew that, and said friend is a boy. So, again, just like attention seeking, scary, like fueled with fear type of thing. Like, I want to scare her.
Yeah.
I want to startle her position. I want her to care about me, but does it in like
the worst way.
The worst ways. So
they ask him like, what are you doing here? Like, she was kind of obviously freaked out about this. Like, why are you here? Why are you laying in the ditch? And he said, I was kidnapped. They took my car and they just dropped me off here.
Yeah. None of that has ever been proven.
But it has been proven he was trying to scare her.
Yes. So
it was just weird.
At this point, now I'm just going to say it. He faked his own kidnapping.
Yeah.
And just happened to be dropped off in the ditch in front of her house.
I think it makes no sense. I mean, I get it because you're just trying to get attention, but
yep.
I don't know. That's just weird.
So weird.
So the next morning, obviously, she's like weirded out, you know, kind of on eggshells a little bit, like not really knowing what's going on because she had got all those weird texts and
right. And at this point, like, people really think he was like kidnapped.
Yeah. No, he was like, don't call the police. It's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
He just had his friend Noah come pick him up or something. It was just
even his friend
weird.
Even his friend at some point says like, but that was kind of what he would do. Like when things didn't go his way, he would go to the extreme of saying he's going to kill himself, attempting to kill himself, faking a kidnapping, stuff like that. Like he just got to a point where like that was the extreme he went to. There was no in between.
Yeah.
So something clearly is up with him.
Yeah, mentally and just in his behavior. So that all happens, you know, Riley gets picked up, the friend leaves Emma's house, you know, she goes to bed. The next day was Saturday, and she was supposed to go and meet her mom for lunch. They were going to go do some stuff. And in the morning hours, she is at home alone, and she hears all this banging on her door and windows at her house. And she notices it's someone dressed in all black. And just banging, and she thinks someone's trying to break in, like
kind of just like going down the whole house, like banging on this and this and this and this. But like that's kind of it, though.
Yeah, like not trying to break in, but like that would freak me out. Like I would think that too.
Yeah,
that someone's trying to get into you.
And she's by herself at home right now when that is going on.
Yeah, so she's like calling her friends. She's, you know, freaking out, telling people what's happening. She calls Riley and is like, I need your help. Yeah, someone's here.
Get over here. All the things. So obviously
minutes later
shows up in the nick of time.
And so all while this is happening, Emma's mom, Jill, they were supposed to meet. And so she was like, this is weird. We were supposed to meet. I'm just gonna, my
Yeah, something's
intuition's
off.
telling me I need to go home. So she starts racing home and is trying to get in touch with him as well. And she pulls in the driveway and she sees Riley's car,
Mm-hmm.
even though he was
He's not
banned.
allowed to be there. Yeah.
Yes, he was not supposed to be there.
And he knew.
Yes.
And Emma knew. They both knew he was not supposed to be there. But I think in Emma's mind,
she was scared.
And truth be told, if how this story plays out and someone really was trying to break in, I don't think her parents would have minded that he showed
Right.
up for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at that point, they got bigger fish to fry, and it's like, good on you for showing up to help her.
Right.
So, but he knew he was not supposed to be there.
Right. And so, you know, she pulls in and is like, you gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday. They spend the day kind of just calming her down, trying to, it's okay. We're going to figure out like
what happened,
what's going on, who that was, figure out if there were any like break-ins near their neighborhood. We'll ask the neighborhood if they have security cameras and stuff like that.
And their neighbors did.
Yeah.
And they show, the neighbor's security camera shows it appears to be a man or like a young man, build wise, in all black, walking kind of like away from her house to a vehicle that actually is the exact make and model of Riley's vehicle. But besides that, like, you can't see their face or anything like that. But it does confirm that there was someone dressed in all black banging on the doors and windows. So,
and in the area. So Saturday, she's, calming down a little more. Sunday, she gets up and she's going to work. She's still, scared shaken up. So her parents actually take her to work, drop her off, and they actually come back and get her and pick her up from work.
I would imagine she was actually not excited, but like it was good for her to go to work.
Yeah,
just
get her
to get
mind
out of
off
the house
and
like be away from it for a second.
Yeah, to get her mind off of it.
Yeah.
Just to like get some normalcy again.
Yep.
So she gets off work. It's, Sunday. She's texting her friends about homework, procrastinating that homework.
They went and got ice cream.
Yeah, they went and got ice cream.
Just like a normal Sunday, I think.
A normal Sunday.
And then it's like, oh, shoot, Monday, we got homework.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we all have.
Yep.
So Sunday night, she's texting with her friends. She tells her parents goodnight, and she goes to bed around midnight. And then her mom.
Yeah, Monday morning. So her mom mentions that pretty much like every morning she would just go basically open her door, knock on her door, and be like, "Hey, Emma, like, time to get up." And she says like she was never very hard to wake up.
I was like that. My dad could yell from downstairs, "Natalie, it's time to get up,"
and you're like, "Oh."
And I was up, ready to go.
That's funny too. Okay, side note, but like my whole life, like me and my brother had our own alarm clocks, and we had to get ourselves up.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I had to do that.
Yeah,
I would always get myself up, but he would always be
if it was like, "Are you ready?"
Yeah,
like and it was like, "Oh shoot."
Yeah.
I better get ready.
It's not like that now.
No.
I can sleep through anything.
Same.
It's kind of scary. Like, it's scary.
Yeah.
So the next morning, it's Monday morning, Jill is getting ready to go to work, getting her daughter up for school. It's 6 a.m. and
she says she like calls to her a couple times and like
she didn't move.
Still like nothing. Like she didn't even acknowledge like her mom opening the door and being like, "Hey, Emma, get up. Got to get up and get ready." And on a everyday basis, like she would like raise up or roll over, just
say
typical
something.
stuff, acknowledge it and get up and get ready. And nothing happened. And so her mom goes over to the bed and checks, like sees that she's in the bed and like tries to shake her. And she's like not moving.
Not responsive at all.
And so then she checks for a pulse and she doesn't have one. So her mom obviously calls 911.
I just tried to wake up my daughter for school, and she has no pulse. You said that she's non-responsive? Yeah. Stay on the line.
And the 911 call is
Mm.
heart-wrenching.
Mm.
I cannot
Just
imagine.
could you? Yeah.
I
I could
could
not imagine
imagine.
just like going to bed one
You have,
weekend and then
yeah, you have, like, I can only think like
the blood
you
would
leave
just
your body.
Yeah, I
Like,
think the blood would drain from my face and you would feel faint and start sweating and just the emotions would overpower you. So she calls 911 and you can definitely hear, you know, her emotions in that 911 call.
gut-wrenching.
Mm.
Oh.
So at first, when police got there, they thought it was a suicide.
Yeah, I think 911 had dispatched, obviously, but kind of wrote it thinking suicide.
Right.
Because at this point, all that her mom knew was that she was unresponsive. And then obviously they asked her age, all the things. So I do find it interesting that they said suicide immediately. Like,
I could see that because sometimes suicide just makes it easier, like open shut.
well, I just meant from the standpoint of like 911, like
Oh.
calling dispatch and that being what they send in the report, because when the officers showed up, that's what that's what was on it. Was like, go to this address, 16-year-old
Yeah, I wonder where suicide came from.
Yeah,
because if I was a 911 operator, which I'm obviously not, I would be like, there's an unresponsive person.
Right. A child.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No pulse, get there now. But I just, to me it just seemed her mom, like, there was nothing about what had happened. It was just, I tried to get my daughter up for school, she's unresponsive. And then, they ask questions like, does she have a pulse? Did you try this? How old is she? Blah, blah, blah.
When did you last see her or talk to her?
Yeah.
Was she okay then?
Yeah, like what stuff
has
like
been
that.
happening?
But like nothing from that call, because we listened to it, nothing to me warrants suicide.
So that could have been a miscommunication on someone's part. But regardless, at first it was labeled a suicide. But as soon as police were there to investigate, it was automatically switched to a homicide.
Yes. Investigators they notice a hole in the wall, and upon further investigation, looking at it, the detectives and investigators are like, that's a bullet hole. And then they find another bullet hole. And then I feel like after that is when they discovered that she did have a gunshot wound to her head.
Right.
So, and I think because it was behind
her
like ear right here and in her hair, that when you would just look at her, you might, like, you couldn't really see it. But after seeing the bullet holes in the walls, there was a gunshot wound to her head behind her ear, and then there was a bullet hole that went like under her pillow, through her bed.
But this was so like, if this is the corner of a wall, her bed was up against both corners.
Yeah.
And a bullet came through on one side of the wall and on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
Which,
like, effort.
Yeah. Effort was made to put two separate bullet holes into the walls. Plus the fact that the side of her bed where the shot that killed her, you have to go outside of a gate and around the house to get to the other side.
Like a whole maze just to get there.
Yeah, so a lot of effort was put into
making sure these shots went where her bed was. Yeah. With giving an angle to where she would be on the bed on either side.
Yeah, and they would have met if the pillow hadn't have been there.
Yeah.
And stopped it. So police are investigating, talking to Emma's friends and family. They're talking about the weird man in black the day before.
The stalking man.
Yep. Just all the weird stuff that was happening, and it all obviously pointed to Riley Gaul.
Yeah, and I think still at this point, I think friends and family really thought that it was this person who was stalking her, like had tried to break in and was outside the house or any when she was alone. So I'm sure in the back of their mind they were thinking Riley, but I think investigators and detectives thought that it was him immediately and not that it was just him that murdered her or did the shooting, but that he was also the one that was the person in all black.
Yeah, terrorizing her.
And a lot of that had to do too, not just with their relationship and like them breaking up and just different things they had heard from friends and family, but his behavior.
Yeah.
The stuff he was posting, like he was posting a lot on social media and like
How much he loved her.
Bible verses and just and investigators and even reporters commented like it was like he had lost someone like the love of his life, like he had been married to her for 50 years. Just kind of obsessive posting.
Yeah.
Again, doing too much.
Doing too much.
Way too much.
So,
can I so I have a little star. This is one of those like if I had been up here I would have made a new piece of paper, you know, because I'm weird. You told me this. I found this to be so odd. And I'm sorry, this is way off track. When she started high school and he was a junior, he was dating someone else. They broke up. A little while later, him and Emma started dating. Fast forward to the end of the year, prom. Him and Emma are dating, but he does not take her to prom. He takes his ex-girlfriend to prom.
Yeah, he promised to take her to prom junior year and save Emma for senior year prom. That is so weird. Like, why?
Red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag. Like,
and
that was just it. Once we talked about that, I wrote it down, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
No, that's super weird.
It's really weird.
Sorry. Back on track.
So, Saturday before Riley... the Saturday before Emma was killed, so the day before, Riley told his friends that he had taken his grandfather's gun for protection because he was scared for himself because he had been kidnapped, and he was scared for Emma because of all the weird stuff that was happening with the stalker
that was on her house. He was thinking that they were someone was targeting both of them, or that's what he was claiming.
Right.
So he tells his friend that he had stole his grandfather's gun for protection.
Yep.
This was the day before.
Yeah.
She was killed.
Yeah.
So there was a lot going on in this 4 or 5 days.
I know.
Almost like a manic episode.
Yeah.
That's what it's giving me that vibe.
Yeah.
Because he was doing a lot.
A lot of stuff was happening. So the night of the murder, so Sunday night, he claims, because, you know, the police they want to talk to the ex-boyfriend of the girl who passed away. He claims he was at his dorm room, he went to his grandparents' house, and he went back to his dorm room, and that's all he did.
Because he was scared.
Yeah.
Like he went to his grandparents' house for, I think, lunch or dinner or something, got the gun, and then just went to his dorm to like kind of hide.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's weird because in his first police interview, he never utters her name. He never says the word Emma.
He says the girl.
Says the girl.
Refers to her as the girl. The whole
yeah.
time. Yeah, like for people that have been on and off dating in a serious, kind of tumultuous, but still 2-year relationship, and she's just been killed.
I think he
talked about her like she was a stranger.
I feel like that was like either guilt eating at him that he could not say her name,
or like he wanted it to seem like they weren't that serious or something.
Maybe, or if he said her name, he would just break down and lose it for real.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right on that.
Which was just so weird.
I will say too that part of what happened on Saturday, like when when he goes to his grandparents' house, gets the gun, says he goes to his dorm and just goes to sleep, that he was also aggressively trying to get back together with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying no, 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 over and over and over again. And he's like super upset. And that's when he goes to his grandparents' house.
Uh-huh.
So those couple days too, he was actively trying to
win her back.
get her back.
Yeah, he even went as far because she was over it. She was over it and blocked his number.
Mm-hmm.
He even got his like friend's phone and was like calling her and begging her,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to block that number too. It was just crazy, just not
That's how
good behavior.
No, really.
Deja vu.
Like I would wake up and have like 30 missed calls, 20 text messages. It was nuts.
That should never.
It's not normal.
It's not normal. And I think, I get it. Like teenagers have like crazy hormones, and I've done some crazy things as a teenager.
But not like that.
But I like.
And I guess I should go on the record here and say, who the person I'm talking about, no one knows who this person is. So please don't say it's Ryan or this person.
Oh yeah.
Like no, none of that.
Yeah.
No one.
Everyone's
knows.
gonna try and guess though.
They will not be.
They'll
able
never.
To. No,
because it was so long ago. Before you.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. So back on track. Riley is being talked to by police, and so Emma was killed on a Sunday night, Monday morning, and by Tuesday, Riley and his friends are going to hang out, and his friends, Noah and Alex, they were also interviewed by police, and they said that Riley had asked some weird questions.
Yeah, and I think Alex was the one he told
police,
or Riley told Alex that he had taken his grandfather's gun. So Alex was the friend that
mentioned it
to police. He did say, he had been a little, off the wire, just trying to get back with her, kind of not, I don't know, things had seemed off. It was also like, and then Noah, the other kid, he was the one who Riley called when he had been kidnapped.
Yeah, and asked him randomly, hey, my roommate wants to know how to get fingerprints off a gun.
Yeah,
it's
just stuff like that. And
weird.
I liked that Noah said, they were like, well, what did you tell him? And he said, I told him, I have no idea. Don't ever ask me something like that again.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
It is weird.
Before they met with Riley or Noah and Alex, though, the detectives, I feel like they mentioned it so many times, like how cold and emotionless Riley was, like during questioning. Like his answers were very vague and like almost to the tone of like the one detective that really was like the main one questioning him. He seemed like Riley was very smart and calculated and cold and just
empty.
Yeah, just like a shell of a person. Was not sad, wasn't even like really cocky, just that he was very smart and calculated and knew what to say, what not to say, how to say it. Just not human.
And I think his friends kind of knew that of Riley too, because they told police on him, and they kind of knew, if we don't get this, justice will not be served in this case. Like, we have to figure out,
hurt us.
Yeah. We have got to figure out how we're going to do this. So Alex and Noah actually are huge in this case, because they team up with police to just talk to Riley and see like maybe they can find a murder weapon. Maybe
Yep.
they can get something out of Riley that maybe the police couldn't.
And Riley does deny, like the detective brings up, so do you have a weapon? Do you have a gun? Blah, blah, blah. Riley denies everything. And he's like, what if I told you that someone told me that you showed them
Mm-hmm.
a gun that you had taken from your grandfather? And Riley's like, who told you that? And I don't know why somebody would ever tell you that. So I
Mhm.
think at this point, Noah and Alex realize, like, this is bad and this is wrong. And if not only if we don't stop it or figure this out or help, justice won't be served, but like he might hurt them
Mhm.
because that I would be scared,
Yeah.
especially if I'm the one that knew, like you showed the gun to,
Yeah.
and I'm the one that told police about that.
Yeah.
And then all the other erratic, bizarre behavior and stuff. Like I would
Mhm.
be terrified.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't hang out with that friend though.
Mm-mm. No, but like you said, I'm good on these kids because
That takes a lot.
it does.
I'm thinking even now, if my best friend
J-
told me I murdered
Yeah.
someone, I would be like zip-lipped about it.
Oh my god!
Like
I'm
it
gonna
would be
pretend like you
very.
did not say that.
I'm just very loyal when it comes to
I
that
am
stuff.
too. I'm no snitch.
But at the same time, it's like,
I
are you
don't know
really?
if I could be loyal and
I know.
like
After that,
Yeah,
yeah.
no. Uh-uh.
And I think that's kind of the position that
I mean,
Alex,
being loyal is one thing, but being loyal
to a fault.
after a murder.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. We'll edit that out. So, Tuesday after Emma's death, the boys invite Riley over to play video games, and the police are listening to this. They have a camera on like a key fob, and they've talked about where to place it, to get
Yep.
Riley on camera, and he says some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I will say too, part of the reason that police knew and thought that okay, we do need to have we need to work with these kids was not only because they were so forthcoming and honest, and willing, but after he was questioned, Riley started texting them like in a group message,
Yeah, I
basically
forgot to mention
saying
that.
like, hey, that gun that I told you about or showed you, I've got to get rid of it. Like, I didn't do this, but I've got to get rid of it so that I don't go to jail for something I didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get rid of this gun. I have to get rid of this gun. So not only did he lie about ever having the gun, now he's basically backtracking. Well, first he backtracked to his friends, like, why would you tell them
Yeah.
that? I never had a gun, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Then he starts texting them like, guys, I got to get rid of this gun. I got
Yeah.
to get rid of this gun. And so they are clearly telling detectives all of this stuff that he's telling them. So then they set up like basically a sting
Yeah.
operation,
Yeah.
which is, I'm like, they're kids.
I
And
know.
they pulled this off.
Yeah, they did. They get him talking about everything.
And at first he's like not he's like,
yeah,
he's like denying everything again
and trying to like guilt them because he's like, I'm trusting you with my life. This could be 70 years.
Yeah,
For something I didn't do.
This.
Yeah. He just keeps on and on. And then he goes, are you guys busy right now? And can you take me to go get
Yeah, he said, like, I think, let's go get or I think first he says, can y'all help me hide this gun? Like, I want to take it and throw it into the water off the bluffs, which was like an area where kids partied and stuff, like had bonfires or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, and they're like, obviously, like, yeah, we'll help you. But then he doesn't even have the gun on him.
Yeah.
So they're in the car. They realize they have to make a pit stop at his stepdad's house to get the gun.
Mm-hmm. He comes out with this
the
trash
whole bag of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
It's not even just a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a whole bag of stuff.
Yeah, there's like a box of trash bags and tennis shoes and black clothing and gloves and
The gun.
the gun
Yep.
and just all this stuff in this bag. They make a pit stop at like a
To get
fast
food.
food restaurant.
I think they're at this point though they're trying to like act normal. They're
Yeah.
playing music,
Yeah, they're
trying
telling
to
jokes.
stay super low key, like
Mhm.
casual, and
All the while texting police, like
yes,
in a group message. I cannot believe they did that. I would have
I
been
know.
scared out of my mind that
Same.
he would have.
And at this point, he's not even like they haven't seen the gun yet.
I know.
He won't show them. Like they're here and there, bits and pieces. Not obviously they did a really good job because he didn't really pick up on anything. But they're like, let us see it. Like before we toss it, let us see the gun. Like they're playing him like a fiddle, and he has no idea that this entire thing is a setup. Like those kids did such a good job.
They should go into police work.
Oh, for real.
Detective
like
work.
Private investigator,
Yes.
undercover, all the things.
They were
Because
really good.
I bet they were about to shit their pants the whole time.
I would have
I
been.
don't know why I whispered that like they can't hear me. Never mind. But like for real, like sweating.
Especially once he got the gun. Like,
yeah, and he's sitting in the back seat with it. Heck, no.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, I'm stressed out
I
thinking about it.
I know.
Oh my gosh, so stressed out.
So they get to the bluff, and Noah and Riley send the code word to police, and they said they sat there for a few minutes and just kind of waited and just
because at this point he showed it to them.
They showed it. That was their cue. Like, if
when
you see the gun, send this word, and we'll come.
They sent it. It was like 5 minutes.
I know. Could you imagine? Oh my god.
No, that's when the sweating starts, because then they have to like sidetrack to like not let him toss it in the water.
Yeah.
Heck no.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, these kids actually made this case happen.
Yeah, they did. They absolutely did.
They not single-handedly, but like 90% them.
If it wasn't for them, I don't.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think. Maybe, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because I think he would have got rid of it.
Yep.
And that evidence is what did it. Because everything else is kind of circumstantial.
Yep. And nothing that could be linked to him directly. So, police, obviously, they descend on the car, and he is freaking out.
Losing his mind.
Cussing, and the boys are kind of playing along with it, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening.
We didn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all here for? Obviously playing along. But,
yeah.
Oh my god, I bet they were like, oh, a breath of fresh air. Like,
I've never been so excited to see blue lights in my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then it would be so scary, because what if he just like
lost it?
Shoots him?
I was thinking I'm shocked he didn't shoot himself at that point.
I am too.
I am shocked.
I think in some bizarre way, which we've come across a lot of bizarre things with all the cases we've covered, but I think in some wild way, like he had tricked himself into thinking he didn't do this.
Yeah.
Like he was believing his own bullcrap.
Yeah.
Like it had become facts in his mind.
Yeah. I could see that.
Which is
with mental health issues, that can easily happen. You make yourself believe something because the alternative is just too bad.
Yeah, especially if you do have something like bipolar or schizophrenia, because you don't really know yourself, or you're most definitely not in control of yourself. So it's like, oh, I'm back, and that's not me. I did not do that.
Oh, I think it'd be easy to do that.
Yes.
Just believe whatever
lies you're telling yourself.
Yeah, whatever lies you're telling yourself just to get you through it.
Definitely.
Mental health is no joke.
We should say that every episode. Mental health is no joke.
It is no joke. So, he's obviously taken to jail, and a few years later, he is finally in court for this trial. And I thought this was really interesting because his defense lawyer, his opening statement was, "Find Mr. Gaul guilty of reckless homicide." He admits that he fired the gun to scare her, but not to kill her. And this was the first time he had ever admitted anything.
Ever.
Yeah.
Why did they not why did they use that as a defense, which in my opinion is a joke,
Yeah, it's
instead of trying to plead
insanity or
or
mental health.
plead guilty based on that, like plead guilty to like second degree murder, you know,
Yeah.
or third degree, really second degree murder, or third degree murder.
Yeah.
If that's what they're claiming happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he did not mean
homicide.
to kill her. Or plead guilty to reckless homicide and then a couple other charges.
Mhm.
Like why did they think that using that as a defense would
Sway them? I don't know.
because also I guess if it's a murder charge, then you can drop it down to something like that. But like you can find them guilty not of murder, but of reckless homicide. But still, I thought that was not a good move. I mean, not that I'm mad about it because it worked out the way it should, but
yeah.
I didn't think that was very smart.
Yeah. The trial only took 1 week and he was obviously found guilty.
Yeah. I think one of the most cold, disturbing things that I heard besides when he was being questioned by detectives after she was killed was when his sentencing happened and he read his letter and he is telling her family, I mean, he is talking directly to them saying, I only shot multiple times to scare her, thinking like she would call me to come help her. I would be so offended if that's what you had to say to me after you killed my child. That's like you're still making excuses.
And just no emotion in his voice.
At all.
At all.
No emotion whatsoever. But also, like, you're still talking out of the side of your mouth. Like, just say, if you are still claiming to be innocent, just say, I fucked up and I'm sorry. This was a terrible mistake and you're the ones paying for it. And I'm sorry. Like, why are we still talking about that other stuff? That's obviously not true.
Yeah.
Oh, I would be so offended.
Yeah.
When her dad says, is there anything you want to say to him? He's like, I don't think there's anything I could say on camera. He said, but I'd like to tell him what I have to say one day. I'm like, you damn right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so offended by that. I felt like it was so, he's still being a selfish little shit.
Yeah.
Like, evil. Just no concern for anyone but himself, ever.
Yeah. And I showed you pictures of him a couple of years later. He has had a total transformation.
I
don't know.
Different person.
Looks like he put on a ton of weight. Just, I don't even think he looks like
he
himself.
does not look like the same. Like, I want a DNA sample.
I know.
He does not. It's not the same person.
I know.
Might have a conspiracy going on here. He is not. That is not the same person. You can't tell me.
I don't know.
Maybe it was the drugs and alcohol. Like maybe once he got like in prison, like maybe the drugs and alcohol suppressed his appetite and working out for football and stuff like that. Maybe that's what like kept him slim, slender, whatever you want to call it, fit. Maybe he's doing steroids.
Maybe.
I don't know, but different person.
Yeah.
Even his face, his eyes, nothing looks the same.
It's so weird.
It is never. And it looks like he grew a foot.
Maybe it's just the weight he put on. It just makes him look so much bigger.
Yeah. And maybe just seeing him in person versus like pictures. Either way is strange. You couldn't have put pictures or shown me that and asked, like if you said, is that the same person? I would have been like,
obviously not.
There's no way.
Yeah.
In just 2 years? No.
And we'll post those pictures on Instagram so people can see it because it's just
not
crazy.
It's bizarre how different he looks.
So we've been through the victim, the perp, the timeline and story, and all of the facts and evidence. And now the lighter part is the foundations. And every year, there's been a foundation put in Emma's name.
Yeah, it's the Emma Walker Memorial Scholarship Fund. And basically, it's a scholarship fund set up to give to students that go to the high school that she attended, so Central High School, and any students that are looking to go move on to college at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. So I feel like that's a really cool thing. We'll put links to that in on our social media and stuff too.
Because Emma wanted to be a NICU nurse, the Children's Hospital dedicated a room in her honor.
And to her family, obviously she was such a special girl, just a pretty person inside and out.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone that knew her was super lucky to know her. And to Noah and Alex, you guys are freaking rock stars.
Oh my gosh.
If y'all hear this or see this, like,
wow. Hats
what
off.
a thing to do. Like,
yeah.
Super selfless, stand up, stand out acts that I can't imagine how scary would have been for you guys, but good for you. I hope good karma comes your way forever. And to Emma's family, just keep remembering her the way that she was and not by what happened to her. And yeah, man. Why? We're not going to sleep tonight again. What's your final thoughts?
I just got to give it to her parents because, like, I feel like they did everything that they could and they're still doing things after the fact. 2020 did a piece on them, and I just love the fact that they're, like, just trying to prevent this from happening to other people's daughters.
Yeah, and it's
just highlighting the red flags that have been shown in this case, and just be prepared. Like, teenagers, crazy stuff happens.
Yeah. And I mean, for anyone that might be in any sort, no matter what age, any sort of relationship, there's a difference in a dramatic relationship and a toxic relationship that's like, yeah, we're just not, like, I behave differently because of how I feel about this person or because of how this relationship is. And this person behaves differently because of this relationship too. We need to go our separate ways and wish each other well and just end it. But there is never a reason, or like, it's never okay for someone to consistently put themselves in your space, and especially a safe space, like at your house, at your work, at your school. There is never a reason for someone to continuously do things like that when they know that they are not welcome to, they know they're not supposed to, they know that you do not want them there.
Yeah.
It's not okay. No one should be calling you 30 times a day, texting you 30 times a day. No one should be telling you what to wear, except for your parents.
Yeah.
And still that sucks sometimes. But like, red flags like this, like the small ones lead to bigger ones. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not okay. And also, it's not okay for you to treat them the same way just because they're doing it to you. Like, just walk away, even though it's hard. Like, this is a prime example of why red flags are meant to be noticed.
Yeah.
And taken seriously. And it doesn't mean that you have to, like, hate each other and be hateful. Like, you can be like, hey, what's up? We're cool. It's nobody else's business. Just get out. Just get out of it. Because, I mean, this could happen to anyone. Like,
it can.
Oh,
I know.
So stressful.
I know. Okay. Let's go get a drink.
Yeah, let's go. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening.
Again, if you have good constructive criticism, feel free to leave it in the comments. We love hearing it. If you're an asshole, please don't. All right, bye.